The Raptors lose an absolute heartbreaker to the Philadelphia 76ers, 104-101 as they take a 3-0 series lead. I'm Randy Urban, and welcome to Raptors Night Cap. Tonight, we're joined by Leo Rautins, Jack Armstrong, and Paul Jones.
I'm into the food before we even started, so that's why there's an empty bone. I'm wiping already.
Be into the drink before we start.
Maybe I will be tonight.
You got to hand it to Embiid, though, Jonesy. You know, especially the way
like a little of your coffee, Jack.
The way 2019 went.
Well, you know what?
Big shot, the big crucial moment.
Did you and Leo finish all the coffee?
People talk about because coffee doesn't keep me up at night. Does this keep you up, Jack?
No, but it doesn't seem. It seems to be an empty cup here.
Yeah, Leo's cup runneth over.
The crew must be.
Hey, you get here early for a reason.
Times are tough. That shot.
Look, are you talking about the winning shot?
Yeah.
To me, you break it down. First of all, Doc Rivers did his classic Doc Rivers to get a timeout. He and Eric Spoelstra. You guys help me out here. Is there anybody else better in the league than just walking out onto the floor when they need to get the referee's attention? And Doc did it. I think he called his last timeout basically in front of the Raptors bench.
Yeah.
He got the timeout, and he is the master of misdirection.
Are you fine with that?
What?
Out
of the coaching box?
There's not. Leo and I were just asked about it on TSM. Not in a million years would any official call that.
No.
So for anyone to make a case about that, if Nick Nurse did the same thing, there's no way.
Right.
Common sense overrules the rules.
The irony was, at the end of regulation, Nick was trying to get a timeout.
Didn't get his.
And was standing on the sideline. Like, maybe he's learned something. You just walk out onto the floor now.
Yeah.
But the misdirection that Doc used to get Embiid the ball, I have to believe there was a breakdown there in Toronto's defense. There was a foul to give.
Right.
Correct.
And Nick was yelling for them to take the foul. They didn't. He took the pressure off the ball, and Fred wasn't in the face, so it was an easy pass. There were, like, on that last shot, give Philadelphia credit, but I think the Raptors aided them in some of the things they weren't able to accomplish on that last shot.
It's one of those shots you don't think about. You just fire it away, and that's perhaps the better way to do it.
Right.
Jack.
Look, Philadelphia had 100 reasons to lose that game, but they have the one reason that matters, and that's arguably the MVP in the league. I mean, that really, when it comes down to it,
he was terrific tonight.
He's been the best player in the series.
Yeah.
Hey, I've been critical of him over the years, and I think rightfully so. But I got to give him credit and what he's done, how he's played. In this game, he came out, a typical Toronto start in his playoff career, terrible.
5 turnovers.
Yeah, but you know what? He sucked it up and came back in the second half. He was a beast, and he did what he's supposed to do. So, I tip my hat to him. That was, that was a big second half and an enormous shot to win the game.
Just general thoughts, Jack, on the loss, the way?
Well, my general thoughts on that play or on the game?
Just on the game.
On the game, I thought the Raptors, played their tails off. Their defense was much better in this game. I think their half-court offense, as we know during the course of the season, has had some issues. They bent, but they didn't break. OG Anunoby, third straight game, was excellent. Gary Trent Jr. battled through everything and was really good tonight. Obviously, Precious Achiuwa is an emerging young player. So, unfortunately, though, on the other side, Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet really struggled in this game. And when you're playing a team as good as Philadelphia, your margin of error is pretty slim. You don't have Scotty Barnes. You need everybody to play at a pretty high level. 3 missed free throws late. Those were huge.
If you told me that the Raptors would have a chance to win this game with Fred not himself at all, and Pascal, really, he had 0 points second half, right?
Yeah.
And overtime. And the way he was playing to finish the season, if you told me that's what we'd see, I wouldn't believe you. And the fact that, he didn't even look like he wanted the ball towards the end of the game. And Raptors can't handle that. I mean, they spent their success the second half of the season was riding Pascal, right? And Fred obviously labored with some injuries, but Fred has been their key guy. So, the effort that OG, Gary Trent Jr., Precious put together was enormous. But remember, this team can't absorb. You don't have Scotty Barnes. You can't absorb Fred and Pascal not being there.
They don't have that margin for it.
No, they don't. Not at all. And the fact that the game came down to overtime and it was that close, you got to tip your hat to the rest of the team.
And on the other side for Philadelphia, now that you look at 3 games here, I think when you look at the fact that the Raptors beat Philadelphia 3 out of 4 during the year, that was the best thing that ever happened to the Sixers.
Yeah.
Because that got each one of these guys' attention, and Doc Rivers in a mini training camp was able to get after his guys and have their full attention. And I give them credit because they didn't play a great game tonight. I mean, they coughed the ball up. They were sloppy. They had a lot of breakdowns. And that's an incredible road win for them with Harden fouling out. That was a fun game. You know what I found really interesting, guys? Both teams played a good amount of zone in this game.
Yeah.
They were trying to keep each other off kilter a little bit. This game had a lot of drama to it.
You got to feel for Precious Jonesy on those free throws because, he's having the playoff game of his life at that point, 9 of 11 shooting, just great energy on the offensive glass and just playing well,
And he's a 59% shooter over the course of the season. And that's something that he'll work on. I'm sure he steps to the line thinking I'm going to make them, but he doesn't. So it's something to work on. And it was interesting because even when he missed and Philadelphia called the timeout, as they were walking toward the bench, Fred, I can't remember who the other one, both guys were clapping like, that's okay. We're going to play defense and we're going to get this thing back. And they did get a stop to send it to overtime. So, it's tough to miss those free throws, but you look at the body of work and the way he played. He played a terrific game.
I love this. He was one of the few guys that was consistently trying to go at Embiid and attack him.
Yeah.
I mean, for some reason, other guys were almost avoiding that, but not Precious Achiuwa. He was going at every chance he could. He was trying to attack. And remember, this is a guy who's been shooting the ball extremely well from 3. He wasn't taking a 3. He was attacking.
Yeah.
And the Raptors needed that because they weren't getting it. So I was really impressed with his performance.
So Jack, Raptors go up by 17. They look in control, but don't really step on their neck, to put it to 20, 22, 23.
Leo and I were chatting about down on the court before, and Leo said that to me. He goes, you know what? When they had their chance, they didn't boom. And it's a great point you bring up because this was your night.
Yep.
The crowd was going. They were playing really well. And
crowd was into it early, loud.
It was great.
Yeah.
We said the same thing, Jack, before we all sat down and turned on the cameras, Randy and I. Up 17, and the place was jumping. And Philadelphia was kind of like that boxer that's on the ropes. You just kind of, you fight enough to back the other guy off and think, well, wait a minute, maybe this isn't over. And, the place is going crazy. The Raptors are up 17, and then you look up, it's like, wait a minute. It's only 11.
Yeah.
It's not 23.
Then it became 6 real quick.
The way this is going,
and it could have been in the 20s, and I kept going. You want that cushion.
Yeah.
You want to make that climb back for Philadelphia as steep as possible.
Never enough.
And when it was just some careless plays and some easy shots, and next thing you know, Philly's right back.
Was it Philly doing something? Raptors not executing something?
A little bit of both.
I think their zone helped a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought they, their zone was good. I think again, some like secondary players did enough. Like Tobias Harris,
His defense was outstanding
he's
tonight.
been really physical. His compete level has been really good in this series. He has not played well against the Raptors, but he's playing really. Maxi's dynamic. Like Danny Green had tons of opportunities and he missed a bunch of them. But they're competitive juices. I mean, Harden, okay.
Yeah.
He's definitely, there's not the same explosiveness in his game.
He's lost a little bit.
And this was a great opportunity for the Raptors, and I'm convinced they win this game tonight. They win Saturday afternoon as well. This whole thing's knotted up.
Oh, it's a completely different series if they win tonight. Like, I think they actually blow out Philly in Game 4. You've seen that before.
Yeah.
You know,
he's a cowboy.
No, well,
Easy
you
now.
get the monkey off your back. You start feeling a little like the longer the game was close, the more it favored the road team, right? Because they have nothing to lose.
Well,
at
that's
that
how you
point.
do it, right? The win on the road, you, and that's what I said. Like Leo and I, Jack, all of us talking about 17. Make it 20, make it 22, make it 24.
Yeah.
As Jack said, give them a reason to say, all right, we'll give you this one, we'll see you Saturday.
Yeah.
And then it's a different series. But like I said, I looked up 17 and the place is still rocking. And I look up and wait a minute, it's only an 11-point game. Like this feels like it should be 25. And then Philly, the road team, you hang close, and you lean them out at the end, and everybody goes, what happened? Here we are.
You know, it's interesting. On the other side now, you look at Philadelphia. We don't reseed in the NBA. It's brackets.
Yeah.
So you're staring at playing Miami. They're up 2-0 against Atlanta right now. So on the other side for them, you know, rest is important. If they think they're going to actually legitimately make a run, you want to close this thing out on Saturday because Miami theoretically could sweep or at the very least 5 games with Atlanta. So it'll be interesting to see the approach of Philadelphia on Saturday because there's a lot of emotional wreckage right now for the Raptors to deal with. Would you be better off playing Friday rather than Saturday? The 2 days to dwell on this right now, what does that do to you? I don't know the answer, but it'll be
Emotional
interesting.
wreckage? I got
Hangover?
my bathing suit ready for South Beach. You want to talk about emotional wreckage? It's not happening now. Well, we don't know, but it's, you go down 3-0. I mean, that's tough, right?
Yeah, you can do it. It's,
The one thing I will
hasn't
say,
been done.
Hasn't
but it
been
can-
done.
at
in
some point,
basketball,
at some
it has
point,
to be done.
somebody's going to
Some-
write history.
Yeah.
At some point, that's the way you have to look
But
at
it
it.
starts one game, right?
when
You
the Red
can't-
Sox
you can't
came-
think of-
Get 4 until you get 1.
Yeah, you just got to get the one.
I will
Don't say the
this.
Boston Red Sox. I'm a Yankee fan.
I will say this. Do we get a Dave Roberts stolen base to start it off? I will say this. Saturday, so I expect the same thing from the Raptors. They are going to come out swinging and throwing everything, including the kitchen sink, if they can detach it, because that's the way they are. Like you saw tonight, even though they didn't have their best game, they never left the fight.
Yeah. Jack?
Oh, by the way, Leo, have you ever gotten a pair of the NBA
No,
cufflinks?
I don't know the right people, Jacko.
Let me see those.
NBA cufflinks.
Yeah, he's big time.
those are
He's
nice.
big time.
Those are
Those
nice.
I knew Jonesy when.
Yeah, yeah. It used to be an Oakwood dude,
They were a gift.
Where do they go from here, Game 4? I mean, they go back to home and then back to Scotiabank Arena.
Are you asking Kawhi? Are you trying to be Kawhi? No, where do they go? I think, as Leo said, I think they were better tonight defensively. I just think they got to execute a little bit better down the stretch in the half court, and you got to get Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam going a little bit more. I thought they had some success late getting Embiid more and more in that screen and roll drop coverage. I think they got to look at that and find a way to have to involve him more and have him have to guard. I think that's something they really got to look at.
Leo, did you like the defense on Embiid tonight?
Well, hey, look, he's having a great series. Hey, first half he was non-existent, right? And a lot of turnovers. So I give him credit for stepping up in that second half. But, the defense, if you're going to just look at it just in general, their defense gave them a chance to win.
Yeah.
It's their offense that failed them in this game, right? Their defense gave them a chance to win. Hey, if a 7-footer, 280-pound dude's making a turnaround three-pointer to beat you, you've done a pretty good job. Okay, you've done a pretty good job.
Shake his hand, say way to go.
Exactly, because like defensively,
I agree.
they kept these guys. They weren't running all over the place, weren't getting open looks, weren't doing all the stuff like the first 2 games. So it's entirely different.
They got back to their personality tonight.
Yeah.
Like, look at the turnovers they forced. 22? Like, Philadelphia turned the ball over.
15 in
Embiid
the first
himself
half, yeah.
probably had 6 or 7.
And they got on the offensive glass.
Got on the offensive glass.
held them down on break points. Right? Philadelphia didn't get a chance to
All
run
of
tonight.
those things, as we talk about, Jack, that's Toronto's personality, and they played to their personality tonight. And it's, we've heard it said a million times. It's a make or miss league.
Yeah, and okay, like if I just sat there and said to you, okay, Precious and OG are going to have playoff career highs or tie playoff career highs, and Gary Trent Jr. is going to do the same, but then your 2 best players, both of them, not one, but both of them are going to struggle. come on, you wouldn't think that, right?
No.
I mean, so you had certain guys doing something they haven't done before or better than they've been doing, and you had two guys you absolutely count on weren't able to do it. And so the fact that you got a game to win, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
but
Jack. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's hard to do when you don't have those guys.
Give some love to OG tonight because he.
Best game.
Well, he's been really good in this series.
The whole series. Yeah.
And it's interesting. I'll say this. When you look at OG right now, and you look at where he's gotten as a player, the big step beyond this now is, can he play 70 games in a season?
Yeah.
And honestly, if he plays 70 games this year, the Raptors have home court advantage, and they're probably like a 1 or 2 seed in the East. So that's going to be the big thing for him. Clearly, he's taken another step as a player, but the best ability is availability, and he's got to be able to cross that threshold. A lot of this is well beyond his control. I understand that. But that's an issue for them. If they're going to take another step long term with a guy like this who you've invested a lot of time and money and energy in, to have him available a lot more really puts you on a whole different trajectory.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw this last game. Fred took like three shots in a row and missed. And OG's going like, looking at him, going, hey, okay. And it wasn't like, a bad situation. But you talk to your teammate, look, give me the ball. I'm rolling, give me the ball. And I like that because that's saying, hey, I'm here.
It's part of leadership.
It's part of leadership saying, hey, look, dude, you're not making them. Give me the ball. I'll make it. And, we haven't seen that from OG. That vocal just to walk into it, even to a teammate, and say, give me the ball. And what I liked about today's game, I thought it was his best game from start to finish.
Yes.
He's had good games. The numbers have been good. But for one of the things I said the last game, that, okay, I liked his numbers, but when Philly was making the run,
the pockets
he wasn't there.
Yes, the pockets of not being productive.
Right.
There weren't many of those tonight.
This game, he was there.
Yeah.
So, that's one of the reasons the Raptors were there, because he stayed with it. So that was an impressive performance.
That was interesting to see Danny Green get that upset. That kind of throws you off. You see a guy like that
uncharacteristic.
That angry.
I would say a couple things at play there. One, the emotion of the playoffs. Mm-hmm. 2, his former team in a building that, he wanted that tonight. Mm-hmm. Like, he knew how important this is. History says when you go up 3-0, it's a wrap at some point. I don't know, you can probably count on one hand how many teams have actually gotten to a Game 7. Mm-hmm. And he had been involved in a couple things, if you were watching, a couple things that he didn't get the benefit of the call. He felt he was being hard done by, and it just overflowed in that one sequence.
Yeah. It's disappointing. I think if you're a Raptor fan overall, it's just disappointing, even though, they had their chances tonight. And I just think that, you got to come out with an energy as if this didn't happen, and that's just so hard to do.
Yes.
It's easy to say, and that's the question I had earlier.
This is disappointing.
That is.
Yeah, it is disappointing. You didn't give us a lot tonight, by the way.
Sorry.
Well, you're in charge of the show.
Come on, Randy, we don't ask a lot here.
Yeah, sorry.
Really,
Is Philly playing a way that's putting the Raptors a little bit in their heads?
I just think that the Raptors have gotten a little tonight. No, I don't think so. I don't think it has anything in their heads. I just think that the playoffs is another gear, and I said it right at the beginning of the show. The Philadelphia 76ers respect the Raptors, and the best thing to happen to them was to lose 3 out of 4 during the season, particularly the last one here recently. And I think Doc Rivers had them right where he wanted them as a coach. He had their full attention, and he had the best players' attention. And you could see the emotion. Again, James Harden is not the same guy, but he's playing with emotion. Yeah. Don't kid yourself. He wants to win, and he'll do whatever it takes. And it's part of his legacy as well. So, no, I think you're dealing with a really good team that you're taking their best shot, and this is part of the education in terms of experience between these two teams. Philadelphia is a lot more experienced.
We'll end on this. The number one thing they have to do to win Game 4 on Saturday, Leo, the Raptors.
Just believe you can win.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly, if I'm Nick Nurse, I'm going to put together the clips of all the games we beat them.
Yeah.
Say, look, we've beaten them. We know we can beat this team. We've got to get back to being who we are, play who we are, take the shots we're supposed to take. But you got to believe you can win. And again, you don't think of the daunting task of winning 4 games. You think of one game. That's
get
it.
one.
And go by quarter, and win the game.
Number one thing, Jonesy, in your mind? We'll go to you next, Jack.
I would say bottle tonight's effort. Just clean up your offensive execution.
Yep.
A few more shots go down, and the timing of them, and it's a different game. It's a Raptors win.
Mm-hmm. Jack?
I would just say it's a journey of learning about what's the 5 P's: proper planning prevents poor performance, the little details, and the planning was there.
Yeah.
And the planning is there.
What the hell are you drinking?
Dotting I's, crossing T's, like just the little things. And there were just so many little micro plays in this game, and there's so many possessions that, to me, you learn from it. And you know, the attention to detail is really, really important.
Yeah.
And
In the playoffs, when you see the same guy every night,
it's turbo chess.
Yeah. All right, we'll leave it there. Next game for the Raptors, Saturday night at Scotiabank Arena, 2 p.m.
Saturday afternoon.
Saturday afternoon, 2 p.m.
The game will be over before the night even begins.
Right, that's right. And we'll make sure we got more coffee for these guys. 2 p.m. is the tip-off. We'll see you after the game.